Abjure. To reject or abandon formally. He will abjure his allegiance to the king. Alleviate. Make the suffering, deficiency, or a problem less severe. This should alleviate the pain. If it does not, we shall have to use stronger drugs. Appease. Pacify or placate someone by acceding to their demands. Only singing her favorite song could appease the distressed child. Assuage. Make an unpleasant feeling less intense. Nothing but time could assuage their grief after they lost their home. Aver. To affirm, declare to be true. He averred that he was innocent of the allegations. Bolster. Give greatly needed support. The debaters amassed file boxes full of evidence to bolster their arguments. Delineate. Represented accurately or precisely. The law should delineate and prohibit behavior which is socially abhorrent. Discredit. Harm the good reputation of. His remarks were taken out of context in an effort to discredit him. Disseminate. Spread something, especially information, widely. Please disseminate the news. I want everyone to know about my candidacy. Elicit. Evoke or draw out a reaction, answer, or fact from someone. I tried to elicit a smile from her. Embellish. Make something more attractive by the addition of decorative details or features. He embellished the story with little exaggerations to make it more interesting. Enervate. Make someone feel drained of energy or vitality. The heat and humidity enervated her so much that she did not even try to accomplish anything on that day. Impede. Delay or prevent someone or something by obstructing them, hinder. A series of accidents impede the launching of the space shuttle. Mollify. Appease the anger or anxiety of someone. The airline customer service representative tried to mollify the angry passenger by offering her a seat in first class. Obviate. Remove a need or difficulty. She hopes this contribution will obviate any need for further collections of funds. Placate. Make someone less angry or hostile. They attempted to placate the students with promises. Plummet. Fall or drop straight down at high speed. Stock prices plummet as Wall Street reacts to the crisis in the economy. Proscribe. Forbid, especially by law. After the accident, all alcoholic beverages were proscribed from the stadium. Quibble. A slight objection or criticism about a trivial matter. The only quibble about this book is the price. Repudiate. Refuse to accept, reject. She has repudiated policies associated with previous party leaders. Rescind. Revoke, cancel, or repeal a law, order, or agreement. She could not rescind the order she had mistakenly made. Sanction. To approve, give permission. I cannot believe that your parents would sanction such a rude behavior. Satiate. To satisfy fully, or supply to excess. Having stuffed themselves until they satiate, the guests are so full they are ready for a nap. Savor. Taste good food or drink and enjoy it to the full. He wants to savor this great moment of accomplishment. Supersede. Take the place of a person or thing previously in authority or use. The older models of car have now been superseded. Ascetic. Characterized by severe self-discipline and abstention from all forms of indulgence, typically for religious reasons. The ascetic practices of a monk are certainly not for everyone. Connoisseur. An expert judge in matters of taste. He is a connoisseur of music. Derivative. Derived from something else, not original. His first album was a derivative one, but his second album was completely original and propelled him to fame. Eulogy. A speech or piece of writing that praises someone or something highly, especially a tribute to someone who has just died. Instead of delivering a spoken eulogy, he sang a song he had written in her honor. Levity. Lack of seriousness, lightness of manner or speech, especially when inappropriate. The professor's jokes brought some levity to his discussion of the otherwise dull topic. Paucity. An insufficient quantity, or number. They closed the restaurant because the paucity of customers made it uneconomical to operate. Penchant. Strong inclination, definite liking. He has a penchant for adopting stray dogs. Recluse. A person who lives a solitary life and tends to avoid other people. She has turned into a virtual recluse. Ambiguous. Open to more than one interpretation, not having one obvious meaning. His ambiguous instructions misled us, we did not know which road to take. Audacious. Showing a willingness to take surprisingly bold risks. He audaciously asked for a raise after working at the company for less than 2 months. Austere. Strict or severe in discipline, severely simple and unornamented. The house was plain and blended into the austere winter landscape. Caustic. Capable of burning, corroding, dissolving, or eating away by chemical action. The critic's caustic remarks angered the hapless actors who were the subjects of his sarcasm. Dormant. Inactive but capable of becoming active. Her feelings of affection are dormant but easily awakened. Erudite. Having, or showing great knowledge or learning. He could turn any conversation into an erudite discussion. Facetious. Treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor. Instead, the crowd began sarcastically to cheer him on and showered him with facetious advice. Garrulous. Excessively talkative, especially on trivial matters. I was hoping to rest during the flight, but unfortunately I was seated next to a garrulous young man. Implicit. Suggested though not directly expressed. The comments are seen as implicit criticism of the policies. Inchoate. Imperfectly formed or formulated. The first draft of her novel was an inchoate mess. With 2 years of revision she transformed it into a masterpiece. Ingenuous. Candid, frank, or open in character or quality. He eyed her with wide, ingenuous eyes. Innocuous. Not harmful or offensive. An occasional glass of wine with dinner is relatively innocuous, and should have no ill effect on you. Loquacious. Tending to talk a great deal, talkative. Joe's loquacious roommate constantly distracted him from his studies. Malleable. Capable of being shaped or bent. Gold is a malleable metal, easily shaped into bracelets and rings. Mendacious. Lying, habitually dishonest, speaking falsely. Though the widely spread rumor of his affair was proven to be mendacious, it ruined his career. Meticulous. Showing great attention to detail, very careful and precise. Her meticulous approach to language served her well in her work as an editor. Mundane. Lacking interest or excitement, dull. Unlike other players, the CEO is less interested in mundane benefits than in value. Obsequious. Obedient, or attentive to an excessive, or servile degree. They were served by obsequious waiters. Officious. Marked by excessive eagerness in offering unwanted services, or advice to others. Her officious contributions to the project were more a hindrance than a help. Onerous. Burdensome, or difficult to endure. He asked for an assistant because his workload was too onerous. Partisan. A strong supporter of a party, cause, or person. On certain issues of principle, she refused to take a partisan stand, but let her conscience be her guide. Precarious. Not securely held, or in position, dangerously likely to fall or collapse. Her position at the company felt increasingly precarious as more and more of her colleagues were let go. Pristine. In an original, pure state, uncorrupted. She has opposed building dirty coal-fired power plants in pristine landscapes. Prodigal. Spending money, or using resources freely and recklessly, wastefully extravagant. Nature is prodigal in its resources. Unfortunately, humanity is prodigal in using those resources. Reticent. Not revealing one's thoughts or feelings readily. She was extremely reticent about her personal affairs. Sedulous. Persevering, persistent, diligent in one's efforts. Sedulous effort is necessary to improve your score in the examination. Specious. Seeming to be logical and sound, but not really so. Despite her specious arguments, the candidate attracted an enthusiastic following. Stolid. Calm, dependable, and showing little emotion or animation. He is so stolid that we can't get a rise out of him no matter what we do. Volatile. Tending to vary frequently, fickle. Increases in volatile weather have alarming impact on business resources and insurance markets. Abscond. Leave hurriedly and secretly, typically to escape from custody or avoid arrest. He absconded from the custody of the nurses who were escorting him from the hospital to the court. Admonish. Warn or reprimand someone firmly. She admonished me for appearing at breakfast unshaven. Aggrandize. Increase the power, status, or wealth of. The dictator aggrandized his power by taking control of the press and all other media. Amalgamate. Combine or unite to form one organization or structure. The unions will attempt to amalgamate their groups into one national body. Belie. Contradict, give a false impression. His blushing face belied his claim that he did not care. Broach. Raise a difficult subject for discussion. He broached the subject he had been avoiding all evening. Burgeon. Begin to grow or increase rapidly, flourish. The city's suburbs have burgeoned, sprawling out from the center. Burnish. Polish something, especially metal, by rubbing. I burnish the brass fixtures until they reflect the lamplight. Buttress. Support physically, support something or someone by supplying evidence. The attorney came up with several far-fetched arguments in a vain attempt to buttress his weak case. Default. Failure to fulfill an obligation, especially to repay a loan or appear in a law court. When the team failed to show up for the big game, they lost the game by default. Denigrate. Attack the good name and reputation of someone. All attempts to denigrate the character of our late president have failed. Dissemble. Conceal or disguise one's true feelings or beliefs. She tried to dissemble innocence, but the crumbs on her face gave them away. Divest. Deprive someone of power, rights, or possessions. He divested himself of most of his wealth and went off to live in the woods. Divulge. Reveal, make known to public. I do not want to divulge my plans at the moment. Emulate. Copy in an attempt to equal or be better than. Most rulers wish to emulate Alexander the Great. Engender. Cause or give rise to a feeling, situation, or condition. To receive praise for real accomplishments would engender self-confidence in a child. Equivocate. Use ambiguous language so as to conceal the truth, or avoid committing oneself. The government have equivocated too often in the past. Evince. Reveal the presence of a quality or feeling, indicate. The news stories evince the usual mixture of sympathy and satisfaction. Exacerbate. Make a problem, bad situation, or negative feeling worse. The exorbitant cost of land in urban areas only exacerbated the problem. Exculpate. Show or declare that someone is not guilty of wrongdoing. The court will exculpate him of the crime after the real criminal confesses. Facilitate. Make an action or process easy or easier. Schools were located in the same campus to facilitate the sharing of resources. Foment. To incite, arouse. They accused him of fomenting political unrest. Gainsay. Deny or contradict a fact or statement. She was too honest to gainsay the truth of the report. Insinuate. Suggest or hint something bad in an indirect and unpleasant way. He was insinuating that I had no self-control. Inundate. Fill or cover completely, usually with water. We've been inundated with complaints from listeners. Malign. Evil in nature or effect. She had a strong and malign influence. Mesmerize. Capture the complete attention of someone, transfix. They were mesmerized by her story. Negate. Make ineffective, nullify. Alcohol negates the effects of the drugs. Oscillate. Move or swing back and forth in a regular rhythm. It is interesting to note how public opinions oscillate between the extremes of optimism and pessimism. Prevaricate. Speak or act in an evasive way. He seemed to prevaricate when journalists asked pointed questions. Recant. Formally reject or disavow a formerly held belief. She refused to recant the rash statements she had made the night before. Refute. Prove a statement or theory to be wrong or false, disprove. These claims have not been convincingly refuted. Relegate. Assign an inferior rank or position to. They aim to prevent women from being relegated to a secondary role. Reproach. Express disapproval or disappointment, bring shame upon, disgrace. The teacher's reproaches fell on deaf ears, and the students continued to chatter while writing.